Welcome to Shovelware Diggers. Our dig team is currently excavating the Softkey Shareware 2000 Hit Games 2CD collection. You can find a link in the video description listing the entire directory structure of this archive. So we kind of had another one of those weeks that just went totally off the rails. So here's what our dig team has for week 291. For more information on how to join the dig team, simply follow the Patreon link in the video description. Now, without further ado, let's get to it. First up, Saint of Streets has dug up WINGAMES /unclassified /3fish. Why do I have a bad feeling this is just going to be some kind of icon that shows up on the desktop? 3fish. We got a write file and an executable, and the executable is thankfully bigger than just a few kilobytes. So let's see what the write file says. Here's the ultimate Windows application. Easy to use, attractive, and useful. What does it do? There are no manuals to read, no menus to master, no help files to search. Even the novice will find its user interface intuitively obvious. It features stunning, environmentally sensitive graphics and a dynamic icon that keeps on working even when the window is minimized. It's great for burning up those unwanted CPU cycles, and it can provide hours of relaxation for the harried computer user? Am I reading that right? Also, CPU cycles, we're really talking CPU cycles in a Windows 3.1 program? Really? Oh boy. And the registration fee is $3 trillion. However, you are hereby granted the right to run the program free of charge for a 99-year trial period. Oh, this is clearly satire. Okay? This entire file here is clearly satire. The problem is, it still doesn't tell us what this thing actually does. So the thing is, the file had some size to it, 195 kilobytes, so it's got to do something. So let's find out what. Well, it's a program that has 3 fish. And you can't click on them. Does it maximize? Oh. Almost. It would maximize if it was 640 by 480, but we're at 800 by 600, so the answer is it doesn't go all the way. Can it go all the way if I do it like this? Nope, still caps out at 640. Oh, and I just noticed if you increase the size of the window, it says so long there, but if it's big enough to show the whole thing, it says so long and thanks for all the fish. Right out of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And if you minimize it, you get the little fish in the icon there, which I guess that's kind of neat. So, yeah, that's all this program does. Since that was particularly short, Saint of Streets gets another dig, WINGAMES /puzzle /light. I'm pretty sure we've established by now that the unclassified folder here is really a lot of nonsense. So I'm glad that this particular dig here is not in there. Instead, it's in the puzzle folder. And in here, it's at light. So, now, surprisingly, this is a smaller executable at only 42.6 kilobytes. But we got a file id.diz, help file, readme, and registration form. So file id.diz, Electric Lights, a game for Windows that allows you to create pictures using colored pegs. After you have... oh, this is going to be a light bright thing? Yeah, that's what this seems like this is going to be. So after you've created a picture on the pegboard, you can turn on a light that will illuminate your picture and bright it to life. You can then save or pictures to a disk or recall a previously stored picture onto the pegboard. Yeah, it's basically a digital light bright. Apparently, it's a digital light bright that has a lot of menu items. Although, that's actually technically a good thing, because that means this might be highly customizable. There was something for the registration, though. I want to quickly check that. Although there's a README here as well. Apparently made by a company called Software in Motion, likely run by one person. But, yeah, it says here the registration fee was $15 US, which, not bad for Windows 3.1 software. So let's see what we got here. Okay, so it's a board of pegs. Doesn't have a maximize button, so we don't have to worry about that. So if I click down, it does absolutely nothing. Oh, if I right click, it changes. Oh, I see what we're doing here. So right clicking lets you change what color peg you're about to put in. So if I wanted to say a green peg, yep, and then cyan, and then red. Okay, that's kind of annoying. You can't put down multiple pegs at a time. If you click and drag, it just puts down the one peg. Okay, so when we're ready to see our thing lit up, I guess we go into here and we got a couple menu options, so light it up. And there we go. It's lit. Okay, so the color menu just lets you select the peg color directly instead of cycling through with the right mouse button. And the pattern menu actually allows you to go to a square grid as opposed to a hexagonal grid. So that's kind of neat. Actually, one thing I find really interesting about this program is that literally every menu item is a picture. Like, you generally don't see that in Windows software, period. Like, it's not impossible to have, like, pictured items and menus, because obviously we're seeing it here. It's just very unusual for all of the menus to be nothing but picture items. Okay, I actually found some names here. So this is apparently made by a Michael Schwartzman and Bruce Elgert. So yeah, for those unfamiliar with the whole concept of the Light Bright, it was an old toy made quite a while ago. I forget exactly when it came out. It might have even predated when I was born. But basically the idea was it was just this box that had this black front to it, and it had a whole bunch of peg slots on it. And what you'd do is you'd put a piece of construction paper on the front of this, and then you had these tiny colored pegs that you would pop into the board. Well, you'd sort of pierce through the cardboard, the construction paper, and then the pegs would just basically light up because it was translucent plastic. The thing that most people remember about the Light Bright, if you grew up with it, is burning your hands on the surface of it. Because, quite frankly, incandescent light bulbs were not fun. Seriously, you would put, if you've ever dealt with incandescent light bulbs in the past, you know that the instant they get power, they start getting super hot. And suffice to say, a fully metal case with a light bulb in it, with no ventilation and boxed in because you got a freaking pegboard with construction paper on it, yeah, it gets really hot. So anyone who had one as a kid probably burned themselves on it multiple times. I'm pretty sure I have at least a couple or so injuries as a result of that. Funny thing is, I actually picked up a modern day Light Bright for one of my nieces, and it turns out the modern Light Brights are all LEDs. Who'd have thought? Well, actually what it is it's a flat board now, as opposed to a sort of, the original one had a box shape to it, like it was kind of like had a 90-degree angle to it in some ways. And basically the idea was that it could sit on the floor. Whereas the new one has like a stand, and it's because it's flat and lightweight, it's like really easy to carry around and portable and stuff. But it's otherwise the same sort of deal, so. Although one thing I will say about the new Light Bright is when I actually did give it to my niece and we tried to use it together, it's really hard to push the pegs into the board through construction paper because they made the tips of the pegs flat. Originally, the tips of the pegs were actual tips so that they could pierce the construction paper easily, but now they're flat, so you have to like go at this weird angle to get it to put into the board. It's just insane. Although, truth be told, I did actually get quite a lot of fun out of that thing, because you really could just make these sort of easy to do patterns. It's like pixel art before pixel art was a thing, but with hexagonal arrangements of the pegs, as opposed to a square arrangement, which kind of in a way made what you came up with a little more organic in a sense. Whereas if it was a square board, then things would be more robotic, I guess. I don't know. What I'm creating here is more geometric than anything else. Okay, almost done my little geometric design here. But yeah, basically, this little thing here, electric lights, is a light bright style, digital light bright, essentially. And it seems to work exactly as I would expect. Producing colorful, peg-like images, just like with the light bright, except on your screen and without burning your hands. Next up from Christian Topnik, we've got WINGAMES /GG/Yova. I have no idea what to expect with this one. Yova. Well, apparently written in Borland C. We got file id.diz, readme first, text file, and the executable itself. So I guess we'll do the file id.diz. Yova 1.1 for Windows. Windows version of Attacks. Similar board pieces and goal of Othello, but with different move rules. Okay. So what's the readme say? Yet another version of Attacks. Okay, so it's an acronym. That kind of makes sense. Apparently made by a Michael Banks and Eben Stewart. Okay, given that it was saying that it's a take on Othello, I wonder if this is that same kind of rule set that we've seen before, where you're either duplicating a piece right next to a piece, or jumping a piece, and the moment a piece lands next to another one of the opponent's color, it changes all of those colors. I guess we're going to find out, but just based on the fact that it said it was like Othello but with different rules, I'm going to guess that that's how it's going to play. And it looks like the game is technically shareware, except it says here that if you like it and have deep pockets, please send any contribution you feel is fair. So I guess it kind of tells us that they didn't really have confidence that this was going to sell, probably because, as it said there, it seemed like it was like their first project or something. And it looks like there's rule set here, but I'm not going to read the rules because I got a funny feeling I know how this is going to play. If it doesn't play the way I think it's going to do, then I'm going to read the rules. So, warning, this program at times when the computer is thinking out its next move takes total control of Windows. Therefore, any background tasks such as communications may not work properly. Oh boy, that's not a good sign. Okay. So we got our board going here, and yep, this is exactly the layout I would expect for what I was thinking. So, which player are we? And also, it's a resizable border? No, it's not. At least in this case, there isn't a useless maximize button, but you still made the border resizable when you weren't supposed to. Okay, so let's set it to one player. I'm going to put the computer on intermediate. Who's first? Red makes first move, and if this is not checked, then blue makes first move. And I'm guessing changing on players, restart the game. Yep. And yeah, not much else going on here aside from the about screen. So, okay, so I guess we're playing blue. So I'm going to guess if I click the piece and then click 2 away, it's going to jump. Yep. And if I click the piece and click 1 away, then it's going to copy. So we'll jump that one. And then want to set ourselves up for when the computer tries to approach. Okay, that's not good. I can set that like that, and then the computer took it. We'll do that, and that, and that. The computer feels like it's being clever here. In some ways, I kind of like that the game goes really fast, but in other ways, I kind of wish it'd be more visual in terms of what's going on. Just for the sake of people who don't fully understand the rules going on here. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to jump this piece like that, which the computer had the opportunity to take that because I did miss that, but I guess that's not happening. Okay, so the state of the game right now, I can no longer lose because, well, unless I make some really stupid moves, but what's happened right here is that the computer has been totally sealed off from this section of the board because I've got this whole set of 2 here. So as long as I play smartly and don't allow the computer to get at least 1 jump away from this area here, I don't have to worry about it anymore. So, like right now, the only move I have that if I wanted to take more of the computer's space would be to jump over here. But if I do that, I'm opening myself up to attack. And because I currently have the majority ownership of the board, I'm just gonna play safe moves until the game's over. Because I did notice I can pass. And I can continue to pass until I win. And then we go on to a new board where now these pieces here can't be taken. So that was Yova, another variant of this particular style of game, which plays perfectly fine. It is very basic. Animations go by really quick, or there's actually not any animations from the looks of it. And wait, what? I completely missed that. The computer was actually able to jump that. Either way, the computer's not winning this round. And now we can move on to another board. There's probably a whole bunch of other boards, which is nice that it has the different board layouts and everything. Although there doesn't seem to be a way to... Whoops. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a way to change the board that you're on. So that's kind of annoying. Like, it'd be nice if you could actually choose which board you wanted to play on, but no, you have to actually play through them like they're levels. So that's kind of annoying. And also, I'm dread to think how long the AI would actually take to make its moves on period correct hardware. Here it's going lightning fast, but yeah, so all in all, the gameplay's fine, so there you go. Next up we have a team dig. Alkovsky and Paul Scheer have dug up WINGAMES /GG/fan. If this is just an icon that goes on the desktop of a fan blowing air of some kind, I'm going to be very disappointed. Anyways, oh boy. That's what this is, isn't it? We've got an exe and a text file, and the exe is 45k. Oh boy. Fan.txt. You should have this file and the fan program. Fan is a program for Windows 3.x which always remains iconic. Tiny fan appears on your desktop. Click on it to open the About dialog box. Settings include off, low through high, and sound on off. Oh boy. Freaking called it. I mean, it has sound. We can hear it. It sounds like a fan, sort of. Very bit-crushed fan with pops in the audio. Yeah. Now you can turn the fan speed up. So now it's medium. It sounds more like an airplane. Or we can go turn it to high. And it sounds even more like an airplane. In fact, I think it's the same sound effect that's just been given different pitches to play at. So yeah, that's actually yeah, that's all this is. Totally useless. So yeah, because that went by really fast, they're both gonna get more digs. So Paul Scheer also dug up WINGAMES /GG/LOSTRAIL. Maybe it means like Lost Railway or Lost Trail, like combining lost and trail into one word. Maybe? I don't know. LOSTRAIL. There it is. Oh, it's got some size to this one. Of course, some of that's probably the installer there. I don't know, the main executable's got 400k to it. What's the README say? To use the LOSTRAIL program, simply copy all the files in the distribution archive. Okay, do you have anything more useful than that? Well, apparently whatever this is, it's made by an asymptote software, or something like that, and apparently has a $5 registration fee. But there's nothing in here about how to play, so let's try the help file. That is a stupidly tiny font. Oh geez. I know you guys are getting to see this magnified because I'm making the 800 by 600 resolution here fill the entire 1080p area. Yeah, this is really tiny for me right now. Okay, so we got moving a piece. Move a piece, place the cursor on the piece to be moved, press and hold the left mouse button while dragging the piece to this new location. Okay, so apparently we're moving pieces, and the goal of LOSTRAIL is to move the 10 playing pieces in such a way to get the large red square at the top And center of the puzzle. Okay, so this is going to be a puzzle game of some kind. Okay, let's see how this plays. Really? You're giving me a registration thing with a useless maximize button, I should add, before we even start playing. If I hit OK, it just puts us in. Okay, it's one of these games. And it's in a very small window. So apparently the author of this program really likes tiny things. So yeah, we've seen stuff like this before. The idea is that you have to get this red piece off the bottom of the board, and this is a kind of a time immortal sort of game here, because this has shown up in many different variations in many different ways. And I've solved these before. I'm like, it would probably take me a while to do like a proper solution right now. So, but it's not that egregious of a thing really. So, although that said, this does seem to be one of the more difficult variants, because I seem to remember this being at least a little easier than what's going on right now. But yeah, this one's actually pretty tricky. And I think it has to do with how you combo the different kinds of pieces as to how difficult it ends up being. But yeah, this one's actually pretty challenging. So I guess if you wanted a really hard version of this, although I think I'm actually getting close to the solution as we speak. So maybe I'm figuring it out or something. Yeah, I think I've messed this up pretty royally. So at this point, I'm just going to say that this is about as good as I'm going to get it in a short period of time. Or at least the time it takes for all the trains to pass by. But yeah, otherwise, plays perfectly fine. And our last dig for today from Softkey will be WINGAMES /GG /DinoSlot. Dinosaur-themed slot machine is the only thing I've got for this one. But maybe it'll be something different. Let's find it first. Dino Slot. That is a lot of DLL files. Okay. And then we got file id.diz. Dino Slot, Dinosaur Slot Machine. Man, I am really guessing these well today. Has the complete look and feel of a real slow machine. What? That has to be a typo. It has the complete look and feel of a real slow machine. Plus all the graphics of dinosaurs. This is a great game for kids. No, for crying out loud. Gambling games are not great games for kids. You cannot say that. Although, truth be told, I was playing things like Caesar's Palace and such when I was, 7. So, like, I mean, the thing is that you're ultimately teaching kids about gambling when you allow them to play stuff like this. But at the same time, if the money's fake, it's like, where's the real harm? But at the same time, it's still feeding that sort of complex. The whole point is that you really shouldn't be giving gambling type games to kids, period. So, anyways, let's see, tangent over, let's see like what this person wants in terms of registration. $14 US. This had better be the best dinosaur slot machine ever. Although it just occurred to me that that's going to be impossible, because I believe the best dinosaur-themed slot machine ever is probably in a Flintstones cartoon or possibly the live-action movie. So, let's just... Okay, we had a very weird grunt there. And we got a dinosaur, apparently made in October 1994. Probably one of the last things made before this Shareware CD was put together. Okay. Okay, not bad for the graphics. I was expecting a lot worse. Like, I mean, we actually have, like, some dithering to the Windows standard colors here, so that we actually have, like, this, log? Using, like, a giant log for the slot. You know what? I wonder if this was actually inspired by the Flintstones movie to some degree. Like, that's not impossible. When did the Flintstones movie came out? I'm looking this up right now. The Flintstones movie came out May 27th, 1994. The same year as this game, but this game was several months later. So this had to have been inspired by the Flintstones movie. It's like not possible for it to otherwise exist. Like at first glance, I thought this said insert token, but no, it says insert rock. So apparently we're betting with rocks. Okay, I guess that makes some... There's a quiz in here? Wait, what? There's a quiz in our Dinosaur slot machine. There is a quiz in our Dinosaur slot machine. So, to quote the angry video game nerd, quizzes aren't fun. Quizzes make you feel like you're in school. Games, fun. Quizzes, not fun. Put them together. Okay, well, let's at least see what these questions are like. Some prehistoric insects have been found encased in amber. Wait, what did that say just now? I heard something in my headphones. Some characteristics of the Coelurus. That's clearly some kind of creature. Were all of the following except that they were scavengers as well as predators. They had 3 fingers with one facing the other used like a thumb. They only weighed about 66 pounds, were 6 feet long. They had a horned nose and a heavy ridge over the eyes. I don't have a freaking clue. This one?
Binga.
Okay, we're getting like, yeah, this weird sound effect when we actually get it right. That was a total guess. I have no idea what that is. I don't even know how to pronounce it. In 1966, 2,000 fossil dinosaur tracks were found in blank. The site is now called Dinosaur State Park. Arizona?
Ugh.
Nope. Apparently Rocky Hill, Connecticut. Okay, so enough of the quiz. We have a wheel editor, so... Oh, wow. We can actually edit the contents of each wheel on the slot machine. So we can set it to whatever we want in order to make it easier or harder to actually win the thing. And then we can also adjust the payouts. Well, actually, no, it looks like instead of adjusting the payouts, we're actually simply changing what's required for each of the different payouts. I forget if I said earlier or not that this better be the best dinosaur-themed slot machine ever. You know what? This might actually be one of the best dinosaur-themed slot machines ever. I can't believe that's actually potentially legitimate here. But it's going to depend on how it goes when we do the whole insert the rocks. We got our bet up to 3. Pull the lever.
Ugh.
Okay, well, we didn't win anything, and that actually was very chunky in terms of movement, but that kind of almost fits the style. And, like, there was some actual, like, decent sound effects to that as well. So, let's actually keep trying to see if we can get a win here going here. Okay, this should be a win.
Ugh.
Or not. Oh, no, wait, that's a different kind of symbol there. Okay, so it has to be the red dinosaurs. Or I think that's the Stegosaurus. It has to be one of the Stegosauruses to do the, to have the Ennies next to it. Okay, this is definitely going to be a win. And...
Binga.
Okay, not quite a very epic, payout thing, but yeah, it works. Okay, so realistically speaking here, the only reason why this exists is because it was clearly inspired by the Flintstones movie. But that said, this is actually playing decently for a slot machine program. Like, I mean, that's very uncommon. Most slot machine programs made even in DOS or Windows are very simplistic because they're... Okay, nag screens. They're very simplistic because, yeah, they're very easy to do. Like, even I've created slot machine programs before. I don't offer them on my website because I know that they're crap, but the thing is, they're really easy to make. So, that kind of explains why so many of them exist. But the point is, this one actually did try to go a step further by making it so that you could edit the actual contents of the wheels and change what equates to each of the different payouts. And not to mention it has the quiz thing, but that's kind of a throwaway almost. But the point is that not a lot of slot machine programs go to that effort. So, all things considered, this is definitely one of the better slot machine programs out there. But that said, you still have to consider whether you want to be spending like $13 on a program that just does this. So, I guess if you're really into slot machines or really like the whole dinosaur theme or something, then maybe. But, like, I mean, if we go to the help here, what was the registration fee again? Yeah, $14 US. So, that's a lot to spend on a program that just does this. But the thing is, I guess if you really enjoy it, then this is definitely one of the better ones you could be putting that money on.